Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Rufino's on Highland Road, welcome to the Friday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, Max Gotro, Jordan Kinchin's back in the studio. Glad you're with us on this Friday. Had a good ball game last night, man, in the playoffs between Miami and Ole Miss.
What do you mean good?
What great.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Entertaining.
Yes, a good ball game. I enjoyed watching it.
Well, that's good because good can mean well played, really high level.
There were some big plays. There were some exciting plays. Was it
entertaining,
the cleanest
exciting?
game? No.
Extremely exciting.
Yeah.
Extremely exciting. Good. Charlie, you had Miami. Good.
I did. Yeah.
Good. I had Ole Miss. Not good. Okay.
Right.
So,
okay.
I mean, this good crap. I mean, you almost made me, swear right out the start. I mean, here you go. You peacocking, and you know what, though, Charlie?
Was I peacocking? I said it was a good game.
I got a lot on my chest today, by the way.
This is that's about as generic a term as I can use to describe it. It was a good football game. I thought it was a good football. I know.
It's like I say. I will say this: if you can just. And I understand it's so important to the roster build and all the other nonsense we're tracking. You got people coming up just during the show. Man, are we getting this guy? What quarterback do you think? I understand it, and that's the college football free agency period is what we're going through, and there's some interest level there. But if you could just get away from all this stuff and you just isolate it, you don't know, and you just watch the damn game, I swear it's better than ever. I swear. It is better than ever. I think you're holding on to players that are pro-level players who are eligible for NFL, who are staying because NIL, that are raising the level.
That's absolutely true.
Okay. Your quarterbacks as well. They're getting more time. So it's you just – and do they care?
Yes.
So it was hard to tell but I talked to some people there. And it was real close to 50-50. They split it in the middle. They split it in the middle. And, man, the people are – when Miami did something good, you can hear maybe 55-45 Ole Miss.
And
we
that
know
was
Ole Miss,
surprising to me. I did not think Miami would travel that well. They usually don't.
Well, they're at home next week. This is their last travel, if they do.
Right.
This is new. I'm sorry.
It's been a while, yeah.
Last 20 years, how many times they finished in the top 10? Oh, that's a 0.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, it's This
is a whole new generation of Miami fans that didn't live through the 80s.
But we know their track record for lack of support.
Yeah.
Or lack of a fan base. But I was listening to a Miami guy this week and said, "Oh no, we'll bandwagon with the best of them." Oh, yeah. We're all in down here. Right. The skyline with the ibis and everything. I mean, they're in. So they're front running town. But if you just watch the game, minus the trophy ceremony, we'll get to that later. It's time I'm sorry. There's more games to be played. It's time to reduce that. All right. Cristobal looked really comfortable on the stage last night, huh?
I went to bed. I didn't even watch it.
He went out of his way to make it awkward. He went out of his way to be awkward with Van Pelt after because they have another game to play. It's not a bowl game. It's not a bowl game.
You have not won a championship.
I don't care what they tell us. It's not a bowl game. When it's a finality in a bowl game, that's fine. When the old way, Charlie, when you walk off with 36 winners, that's fine. But damn it, man, it was one team just didn't belong. I mean, you try so hard to recruit up front, and it all starts up front. And I know it's cliche, but, man, you could work all summer on timing and passing game and this and that, but then you still got to sweat if the lineman puts his hand up and deflects the ball up. And so many things could go wrong in the passing game. But when you can just hand the ball off and whoop somebody's ass, That's what you dream of.
Yep.
And Miami has it. And they want to run throwbacks. They want to run trick plays. They want to showcase a really struggling quarterback last night. They made it so much harder. And then when that pass rush gets tired, because it does get tired. You can't run after that guy after so long. When it does get tired, then he has a little room, a little time, and you see what he can do. But it was, heck, you had 4 lead changes in the last 8 minutes or so, 9 minutes. No, you had an epic game, but there was a lot of imperfections. But I'm not saying Miami; those players didn't try because they were playing hard. And Ole Miss being such an inferior roster last night, they played as hard as they could.
I don't know if it was that inferior a roster. I did think that this game would be decided to line of scrimmage. I told you yesterday when we did the breakdown that I thought out of the 2 rushing attacks, whoever ran the football better would win. And I believe that going in out of Fletcher and Lacey. And had Lacey played the whole game, it might have been a little bit different, but we talked about his injury. It was significant. He had 11 carries and Fletcher had 22. These are the 2 lead backs on the deal. And Miami whooped them up front. If you go back to when we were in October.
Killed them up front.
Killed them. We were October. And what did we say about Ole Miss? This is when Kiffin was still coaching and the other jobs had not opened yet, and we thought Kiffin was staying there. It was like, does he have a championship team? Well, you thought at the time, said at some point they're going to run into somebody that is just going to jam the ball right down their throat. And that rush defense is going to be their undoing. And I think that was the biggest difference in the game last night. I think you probably do too, is that rush defense was not going to hold up against a top-flight rushing attack. I thought Georgia would get them. They didn't. Give Ole Miss credit. And Chambliss has done everything he can and then some to provide magic for them. Tip my hat to the kid. He's a phenomenal player. But Miami won the game up front to the point. I texted you one time the whole game, and this was, I think, somewhere in the beginning stages of the third quarter, maybe even to the middle of the third quarter. Like, how is Ole Miss still in this game?
No doubt.
How is Ole Miss still in this game?
Why do you say they were not that inferior? If you're
the
watching
whole,
the game,
when the whole
if
roster,
you're watching the
okay,
game and you see that,
because I thought Ole Miss has the better quarterback. I think they've got the better lead running back. I think the receivers are maybe.
This guy for
Fletcher's really good. I think Lacey's a little bit better at full strength. I think Lacey's a little bit better.
Okay.
Player for player.
Okay.
I think that Miami's better at all 3 levels on defense, and I think that the offensive lines, Miami's better, but not drastically so. Ole Miss's offensive line against normal defenses. That's not a normal Miami defense. Against normal defenses, that was a very, very high-profile, prolific offense this year. So, yes, was Miami better up front? But I don't know if there's a drastic difference. If these 2 teams were playing again tonight, I would say.
Let me ask you if this is drastic. This is from Paul Stone. With 12 minutes to go in the game, Miami has run 69 offensive plays. Ole Miss 37. Canes are 10 of 18 on 3rd and 4th down conversions. Those 3rd and 2s for Miami, those were real. Those were tough, huh?
They dominated up front. That was why I picked them to win the game.
When you can dominate up front, that's a significant superior inferior advantage there.
The quarterback makes a difference. The
quarterback
on the Ole Miss side is a lot better.
He couldn't breathe for 3 quarters because he was
fair enough.
Because you get killed up front. They couldn't have. Can they at least stand in their way and get run over? I mean, my God, he was. Ole Miss,
and for all that, they outgained him by 60 yards.
I'm not finished. Ole Miss, meanwhile, is 0 for 7 on 3rd downs when the Canes were to him. And it was Miami by 1. So they dominated the game, but you can't rush that quarterback forever. You're going to get tired. And they got tired. And then when he started having some time, then the best player on the field took over. And he did what he could do to keep them in it. I think this thing is played 10 times. Miami's winning by at least 3 touchdowns in 7 of them.
And I don't believe that
And I don't know. I know you want to disagree, and that's fine. But you had a great handicap. You had a great handicap.
And the reason I don't think that is Miami doesn't always play at that high level. I watched them lose to Louisville. I watched them lose to SMU.
If Carson Beck plays the level he played against Ohio State, what's the score last night? He was awful. He was so bad, man. Golly.
A lot of the things that they did with him, he ended up – the plays that he had to make in the last drive, he doesn't overthrow the bomb. It's not a very hard throw, but we've seen guys – that's one of your favorites. They put some air under it.
Yeah.
They get a bust in the back end, and he didn't miss that throw. And then Tony, he's a special kid. He takes a little slip screen and he goes.
Yeah, it's an extended handoff.
That's not really – yeah, Beck gets credit for that, and it's not really him.
Right.
I thought Beck didn't make – a ton of big mistakes. Now, they dropped some interceptions. He got lucky. But he didn't make the big mistake to get them killed.
He made a ton of mistakes to keep
he got
them in
lucky
the game.
On some of those the dropped interceptions.
You handing the ball off and just getting, for the game, over 5 yards a carry. You handing the ball off for 20 yards. Time for a trick play. What is going on?
Well, we're not wild about Cristobal. We're not wild about Cristobal's game management. Never have been.
Did he call that play right there? That's his. That's Dawson.
He signs off on the game plan.
Sure he does. I know. And we're going to run this at one point. Let's do it now. No. Your one text said it. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to make this more complicated than it has to be?
Right.
I was amazed that and Beck is off. We've seen the data tell he has thrown a lot of interceptions for a guy who started for some pretty good supporting cast teams the last 2 years. Has he not?
Yes.
And then he's had some pretty damn good games, too.
He was very good against Notre Dame, who's probably the best team that they played in the regular season.
I thought he was better than people give credit against Ohio State. That's a damn good defense. Mm-hmm. That's a damn good. How about this? What Ohio State fans are thinking today? Damn. Boy, they were really that sloppy against us, huh? 10 penalties last night against Ohio State. 0. Ohio State fans are pissed, and they got enough good. They've got enough riches, I understand.
Yeah.
But they're sitting there like, is this the same damn team we just played?
And that's kind of my deal with Miami. When they're A game, but you don't always get their A game. Part of that's on the sideline. Part of that's on the quarterback. You don't always get their A game.
So and how do you expect? How many snaps was Ole Miss defense on the field last night?
89.
How are they supposed to stop them in the last?
88. Excuse me.
How are they supposed to stop them on the last drive? They play with a lot of heart. And then I listened to the SEC post game, and they're criticizing like Ole Miss blew it, like they had the better team, like they're going to kill themselves. Tim Tebow was criticizing the place kicker.
Okay.
He was criticizing the place kicker.
That guy's been fantastic all year.
He's the MVP.
One more thing before we run out of segment. The last play of the game. What the pass interference? No pass interference.
It is. It's rarely called. It was extreme enough to where I'm not expecting it real time. Watching it, I can't kill them if they throw a flag. I can't. It's kind of a 50-50 enforcement.
Yeah.
Not a penalty.
Yeah.
It's 100% a penalty, but enforcement, and it's not a true Hail Mary. It's not a 50-yarder. It's a kind of and I thought they blew it because they had the 6 seconds. I thought they were going to throw a little 8-10 yard hitch out of bounds. If it's not throw the ball away, you got a smart quarterback,
right?
The
reason in the scrum of a Hail Mary, which this was not. Okay, you almost never see it called, and you probably shouldn't.
And what's the chances they're going to get it from the 20-yard line? Better. I mean, a chance.
Yeah,
a chance. But
I'd give
10%.
10%. Yeah, that's about what I was going to say. This was closer to a one-on-one than it was to a Hail Mary scrum. That was kind of my take on it. I didn't expect it to be called in real time either.
This is the fun part about it. Everybody's got a little different interpretation.
That's why
Great
we do
handicap,
this.
Jack. Anyway, beef ravioli.
Bitter party of one. Your table is ready.
One thing we talk about. We try as a handicapper be fair to yourself if you have the right side. No way Ole Miss was the right side last night. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Okay. But Cignetti versus Cristobal on the sideline. Oof.
Better beat Oregon.
One guy's got a rock, one guy's got a freaking cannon.
Them Ducks was pretty good the last time we saw them.
Appetizer features the beef ravioli over here with the red wine jus, carrots, and pearl onions. Duck quesadillas with the duck confit, pepper jack cheese, tamarind, honey mustard. Entree features, we have a pork porterhouse with the Tuscan braised field peas, Italian salsa verde. Wine pairing is a J.C. Summers Sazzone Pinot Noir out of Willamette Valley. The pan-seared grouper, it sounds good, with the seafood diavolo and aromatic rice. So it's kind of that tomato-based sauce, a little spicy Italian sauce. Wine pairing is a Chateau Ste. Michelle Iroca Riesling out of Columbia Valley. A beverage features a Dom's Inferno, the Knob Creek Bourbon, Amaro Montenegro, Angostura bitter smoked cocktail over here at Rufino's.
There's a duck special today?
Duck quesadillas.
Chef's an Oregon fan, or should I read anything into that? Is that an omen? One way or the other?
That's unintentional.
Okay.
I don't think it's intentional.
Okay.
But
we got to ask the chef. I mean,
I don't know.
Coincidence?
You're
I don't
hot.
know.
You're hot, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad of a mismatch. Miami was awful last night. They tried to give that thing away.
And they won and they covered. Live at Rufino's,
Yes,
live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And return here at Rufino's. Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. New Handycast with the first 10 transfer portal film up on YouTube right now, brought to you by Supreme Rice, supporting our Louisiana farmers since the 1930s. Go to SupremeRice.com.
Macero, what's going on, buddy? Where are you at? Vegas, San Diego? Where are you?
I'm at the Venetian right now. Got a nice view of the. I'm at the Venetian in Vegas. I'm looking at the new Hard Rock that they're building. The giant guitar is going up right now. Yeah, the old Mirage. They got a big giant Hard Rock guitar getting built right now. Looks pretty interesting. We'll see if it's the new hot spot when it gets finished.
Did you go to the Mirage when it was kind of like first on the scene back in the day, or am I dating myself a little bit?
Yeah, you know what? I was actually there 2000, the year the Patriots won the first Super Bowl, the week of the Saints game. I actually got tickets to see Siegfried and Roy before the whole incident with the Tigers. So I was in there. It was the hot spot. I remember friends of mine's parents at the time, when that first opened, they would always make the trip out to the Mirage. That was a new hot spot. The great sports book, Steve Wynn, the whole situation. It really was the number one property on the Strip at that time.
All right, the Runts are going home again. The coaches are going to all their places. We'll see some players swap sides a little bit as well. But anyway, your thoughts of a very exciting, a very entertaining semifinal last night in Phoenix?
Oh, the game was awesome. I agree with both of your assessments as you were talking before in the last segment. Miami definitely dominated the game. Miami definitely should have won the game. They were definitely the right side. But you got to give credit to Ole Miss. I mean, with all the turmoil with the coaching staff, they hung in there. And one of the aspects that really caught my attention, well, one was Miami couldn't catch a cold. They couldn't catch an interception. They couldn't catch a pass. That definitely wasn't on his game. Very inaccurate. But what was curious to me, and yes, they did pound it up the middle a bunch of times, and they obviously had the advantage in the ground game for the offensive line. But what was with the pass blocking from Miami? I mean, Ole Miss was only rushing 3 guys, 4 at max, and they were getting to Beck all night, which was very concerning. I mean, that left tackle, he's big and tall, but he is slow, and I'm escaping, his name's escaping me, but I mean, he got beat a million times on pass blocking, and I'm not sure if that's going to hold up against either Indiana or Oregon. We'll see, but I obviously think Miami could play a much better game. One little aspect of the game, I did take Trinidad Chambliss at 75-1 at FanDuel last night to be the number 1 pick in the draft. I just figured it was worth a flyer. That was all they would give me.
What do you think of his draft status, Charlie? I mean, he doesn't have the size, so that's going to limit him, we would say, huh? Kyler Murray didn't have size.
If he comes back next year and has another year like that, I think he could move himself into the first round. If they deny the waiver and he's got to go into this draft, I think he's probably a second-day pick is my best guess.
But if he
because
has that magic 25-plus starts, he's so much better than Kyler Murray. So much better. He just throws the ball with touch and accuracy so much better, and he's
a
so
better
much
passer
smarter
than Murray was at that point. Murray was an elite athlete.
This guy's
just
pretty damn good. He ain't far behind.
He doesn't have Murray's speed. Murray had elusiveness and speed that catapulted him up, and obviously he got overdrafted given what we've seen.
But
that's why he
went. Running?
They did. That's what they thought they thought they could turn him into a passer, but he had that one elite trait, that upper end speed and elusivity. I don't know that Chambliss is as good as Murray was.
Who's better in the pocket?
Level. No, Chambliss is a better passer. I'm not.
No. Murray. He first pick and they giving up on him after a big contract. He's bad. Also, he's got 2 coaches fired already.
And next year is a pretty thick quarterback class, so that might hurt him a little bit too.
I'm glad you brought that up, Chris. I don't remember how much it would get into him late. I just remember early in the game he was. I've seen ladies at the Windsor Court tee more harassed than Beck was early in the game. I mean, he could eat a sandwich back there. How about what makes that that Oklahoma LSU semifinal, the Burrow year, when LSU was winning 49-14 at half? LSU kicked off in that first half and had 49. Miami kicked off in the first half and had the ball almost 24 minutes of the first half. Or 23 plus. I mean, how about or 20? It was like 23-7 basically.
They had the ball the whole game.
But I mean, they kicked off.
I know,
and they had it only 7 minutes. I mean, how can you not expect? I don't know, Chris. I thought Cristobal and Beck really kept, and Dawson kept Ole Miss in the game. And listen, to your point, I don't care about all the distractions, okay? I mean, Ole Miss played their hearts out last night. They were doomed. They were no doubt they were playing. They play with a lot of heart, man. I thought they were so overmatched last night.
I know. Definitely give them credit. They never quit. There was like you mentioned, there was a tip pass, the interception, but they made the plays. I mean, if Miami could have caught a couple of those interceptions and caught a couple of the touchdown or throws, obviously it would have been a totally different game. But you brought up Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator for Miami. This guy, I mean, get the ball to Malachi Tony. The guy catches everything. He's the fastest player on the field, and they refuse to get him the ball. They're using him as a decoy. They're throwing to number 0. I'm like, it was aggravating me because I have this 100-1 future in Miami. I do have Ole Miss as well, but I had much more money on Miami. Just for them to almost lose that game it was that close to them losing the game. They had to score with it was 17 seconds left. It shouldn't have come to that. Shannon Dawson in the A&M game I had pulled my hair out in that game as well. So he's very conservative with the play calls, and then when he needs to be conservative, they're doing flea flickers. So they're going to get rid of that flea flicker. I don't want to see that again in the national championship game ever again. Stop with the flea flickers.
It was not the night it was the night to keep it really simple. I mean, guys, the third and shorts or the goal line situations, so easy. I mean, there was no resistance. I mean, it was so easy. I mean, where those are supposed to be the toughest yards, So I just, I don't know, man. I think the running back, Charlie, might be selling him a little bit short. This is 3 straight weeks now against the 2 more respected defense. He's pretty good.
I didn't say he wasn't. I just said I like Lacey a little bit better.
And we don't know with Lacey because he tweaked that hamstring, on that play. I mean, because he sat out for a while.
Yeah.
So
he had the shoulder plus the hamstring.
Lacey is deceptive too because he doesn't. It's not these highlight moves. Well, man, he made that safety look like a joke, huh?
Yeah, he
and he could take it to the house. He's sort of this straight up. I mean, certainly not a for the Ravens. I'm drawing a blank.
Derrick Henry.
Henry, but he's straight up runner like that. But he is a little bit more elusive than maybe that he appears to be. So, Chris, you with us on Sunday, or should we get to your NFL games on Sunday, or let's get to your Saturday games? What's your schedule?
Yeah, I'll come on with you on Sunday. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll make time for you guys. It's fun to come on Sunday. It gets my day kick-started.
Okay, what we got in the Saturday games tomorrow?
You want to talk about this Indiana game or no?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm skipping around on you. I'm sorry, Chris.
Jimmy's already decided Indiana's winning the
I'm
game.
so
He was
aggravated
moving
with-
straight on.
Hey, listen. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I'm not sure where all this Oregon love's coming from. I've learned my lesson. I'm not going against Indiana again.
Well, hang on a second. You watched them demolish Texas Tech, right? I mean, that's where
I would say that there still has to be a story of the offense, the entire offense, quarterback, offensive coordinator, offensive line, where they were the night before that game, because no one can play that bad. It's either the Miami flu or they just got something is up with that game. I mean, Baron Morton could not throw a 4-yard pass for the whole game. I've never seen a quarterback play that bad. I mean, they're exceptional on the short passing game. The offensive line looked like they never played offensive line before as a unit. They looked like they were seeing ghosts. That was just a horrible. I don't think Oregon played that good at all. Dante Moore, which I was going to get to, he's very loose with the ball. He had an interception. They couldn't even get how many fumbled snaps did they have? A lot of false starts, too. Dan Lanning with a coaching style that replicates Dan Campbell on steroids. The guy refuses to kick field goals, goes for it on fourth down every single time. So I expect Signetti to have a huge coaching advantage. Mendoza doesn't make many mistakes. Very smart IQ guy. And I don't think I can say that about Dante Moore. Couple that with the loss of Jordan Davison, who's the best running back, has the broken clavicle, 15 touchdowns. He had the 2 touchdowns last week. And if you look at this travel situation for Oregon, Eugene to Miami back to Eugene, and then they got to go back across the country to Atlanta again. This seems like a lot of travel on short time periods. I just think Signetti's just going to have the boys ready. They've done nothing wrong all year. I don't understand the late money that's been coming in on Oregon. I really if you want to play it a little more cautiously, just take Indiana in the money line. Maybe we can get it together with the NFL game in a second. But I just think Indiana's done nothing wrong all year. They're better coached. They have the better quarterback. They have the better trenches. I think they're going to make less mistakes. I like Indiana to win.
All right, you got you Indiana. I'm putting you down for Indiana minus 3.5. Let's find somebody to put with an NFL money line to put with this minus 185, and then the 2 Saturday games tomorrow.
Tell me who's playing on Saturday. I got them all.
It's real simple. It's real simple. Who's the weakest team? Who's the weakest draw in the field? They put them in the first game on Saturday.
Saturday. Oh no, Saturday. My bad. No,
Carolina Panthers.
I love Carolina.
Okay.
I think it's one of the games that when the odds came out, I made the line like 7.5, 8. It came out to 10. I bet Carolina. It went to 10.5. I'm shocked that it went that way. I mean, this is a defense when you're not playing Arizona has given up 27, 38, 34, 31 the last 4 games out of the last 6 when they weren't playing Arizona. Leaking oil big time in the back end secondary. You have big receivers on Carolina with McMillan, Leggett, and the big tight end Tommy Tremble. If Bryce Young can just see over the line of scrimmage, I think they should be able to move the ball downfield on this team. I mean, Arizona was moving up and down the field last week before they got that crazy penalty on the crackback block. Arizona was set up at 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line, down by 3, going to take the lead, and then the game flipped when they called that crazy penalty. But, I mean, this Rams defense is not anything to be too high on. Obviously, the offense is great, but you got an outdoor game on grass, supposed to be some rain. We'll see if LA can put up a big score. I'm just not so sure. I think when you have a home playoff team getting 10.5 points, you got to go with the underdog. So give me Carolina tomorrow.
All right, in the late game, Green Bay now 1.5, 44.5 at Chicago.
Yeah, I don't have a play in this game. I'm more of a fan of everyone's saying it. Chicago's been lucky all year, but sometimes the luck just rolls over for the whole season. I don't want to get in front of the Chicago luck. Okay. I would think Green Bay's a better team, but it's tough to trust Jordan Love, and he's been injured, so I'm not really sure what that is. I do have one play in the Patriots game if we have time.
Well, we're going to get to that on Sunday. We'll get to that on Sunday.
Okay.
Give me another money line to put up with this Indiana Hoosiers.
If I guess you could play it both ways. You probably think the Rams aren't going to lose the game, but I still like Carolina with the point. So maybe just if you want to get, it'll bring your Indiana down to even money.
Minus 125.
You take Indiana, in the money line, and then you take Rams in the money line. That'll probably get you home.
Our friends over at the DraftKings Bally's and the Queen, that would be minus 125. Hoosiers, Rams. If it was tennis, Charlie, what would the line be between Stafford and Bryce Young? 10.5 or higher? He hates Bryce Young, Chris. He hates him.
By the way, I had dinner with Big Randy and Humans last night and a couple other guys. And we were just wondering, how stupid did Lane Kiffin look? I mean, come on. The guy is sitting there in the LSU game. LSU's getting spanked by 27 to South Carolina. He's on his phone. He's got Levitt there. He's texting the other guy. I mean, this guy is going to be great content for you guys for 3 years if he's there that long.
We're due for a break. Good luck to you, sir. we got to move on. All right, my buddy Chris Massero down in Las Vegas right now. So he has Indiana minus 3.5, Indiana Rams moneyline parlay minus 125. Carolina plus 125. United Community Bank. Your business is our business at United Community Bank. We support the hardworking folks behind local business. From initial startup loans to ongoing planning and assessments, United Community Bank is here for you. Contact Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, David Henry, Prentice Wilkes, and see how we can help your business today. David Campbell, of course, as well. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live at Rufino's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Odd and Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Jimmy, Charlie, and Troy. Three best buddies sitting around talking sports bets. Let's welcome in Troy Macker from Bet Rivers.
Troy, good to hear from you, brother. Last night, Ole Miss and in Miami. Big one tonight, Indiana and Oregon. Where was the final tally last night? Where was the money on Ole Miss and Miami last night?
Money line was mostly on Miami. Miami, despite being a little bit criticized and a sluggish team heading into the playoff, they were far more of a public team than Ole Miss, despite the SEC pedigree. Pre-game it was around 70% of the money was on Miami and like 65% of the tickets. Spread, there was more pregame money on Ole Miss, but that evened out throughout the game. The sportsbook took a slight win on that game, but not anything massive. But we did offer some props for player props in select markets for this specific game, and there was one that there was a $10,000 wager on Carson Beck anytime touchdown at plus 650. Which is a great win, and came at the best time. And this game was also split on over/under because of what Miami had done in the previous two games. Playing really tough defense, and it was clear by game plan like they wanted to be methodical and slow, and they really dictated 3/4 of that game when they didn't have turnovers, when they weren't sloppy, when they're clean and tidy. They want to play old school football, which isn't very Miami, but the real volatility is honestly in Miami futures market. Because their odds were all over the board, and at one point they were the number 2 team in the country, but you could still get them at times at 50 to 1, 80 to 1, and we did take some decent money on long shot Miami to win the national championship odds.
All right, you guys have as much liability as some of the others reporting. Talking about almost a $400,000 bet getting ready to cash in Seminole Hard Rock Sportsbook on Miami to win it all. Odds as much as 150 to 1. Saw video from the risk management guy at the Westgate in Las Vegas, the Superbook, and they're saying it is not going to be pretty for them if Miami wins the whole thing. Said they got action preseason, regular season, even when they had that dip and lost those 2 games. Does Brett Rivers have that much liability on Miami winning the whole thing?
And you said that was from the Seminole Hard Rock? Where is that located in?
Florida.
Yeah. Okay, so we do have a big liability on Miami. Before last night, our ideal national championship game would be Ole Miss versus Oregon. That would be the best for futures. The worst would be Indiana versus Miami by a long shot. And Indiana, it's in and around the same liability. I would say XL, even approaching double XL liability. And so for the Seminole Hard Rock, Miami's their home team. Well, in this case, Indiana is one of our home teams because of our footprint in the Midwest.
Right.
And also to the fact that you can get Indiana at 150-1 at the beginning of the season. Even though they were trending, towards the number one team in the country, it took a really long time for people to buy in because they didn't play a loaded schedule. Even after beating Oregon at Oregon, they weren't like super short odds. You could still get them at 17-1, 20-1, 25-1, up until mid-December. So for us, Indiana is the biggest liability, but Miami's right there. I think the biggest potential payout for us is around $80,000 to $90,000.
Wow. So, yes, this is in, regional people,
Right.
college football fans pick their own team. Yes.
What a surprise.
Yes, I know. But I guess there aren't any out in Las Vegas, minus UNLV. So I just I found it interesting there. I'm just curious, and y'all had some long odds, but I'm just wondering when that Sunday show we were doing, when I like Kalshi and things like that, it was basically minus 10, 15-1 that Notre Dame was going to make it to the college football playoff, or you were getting plus 10-1. I mean, did y'all have any, so that last Tuesday pairing show, everything is set minus the conference championship games. Notre Dame and Miami are done playing, and Notre Dame has had them. We know the whole story. I'm interested in that Tuesday to Sunday, if there was some Miami bets to win it all in that range that you guys took at Bet Rivers.
That's a good question. I actually have it open.
It would be lofty.
What was that? That's going to be around like December 5th to 7th. Yeah.
Yes.
When they were previously 60-1, and then they jumped up to 150-1. That's when we took the longest bet, which was 175-1. So it was a $100 bet there. No big stakes, but in that window, we certainly took around a dozen bets in between $100 and $150. And these are all 100 to 175-1.
There you go. So that would be the Tuesday night, basically the 3rd through the 7th in the morning.
Yeah.
And when did they release that show? About 11 a.m., 11:30, something
That's
like that.
when the show started.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, because they
like
went
that.
from 70-1 to 23-1 on December 7th within the span of an hour.
And Troy, we were doing the show that morning. Both Charlie and I said, put down what you think's going to happen, what should happen. And we both put exactly should happen. The committee did, and guess what? Our jaws were on the floor that the committee did exactly what we thought they should have done. So we were floored. Anyway, one thing is apparent though, not just I guess in Bet Rivers especially, but it seems like across the country, I bet especially Bet Rivers, Indiana's become a public team, and.
Yep.
And also you beat a brand, not so much a team, because I think Oregon's dominance over Texas Tech was more impressive than Indiana's dominance over Alabama, because I think Texas Tech was way better than Alabama. But anyway, you get a lot of action. But the bigger bets, even in out the overall handle on tonight's spread action, is pretty damn close. So you got some big bets on Oregon, even in that out.
Yeah, and yes, they beat a brand in Alabama. Certainly, it's not Saban's Alabama, but it's the biggest brand in the sport. And who did they beat in the game prior to that? Well, they beat one of the 5 to 10 biggest brands in the sport, the reigning national champions in Ohio State. And both were pretty convincing victories. Right now, 78% of the money, 80% of the tickets on Indiana outright, and minus 195. So we've seen that Oregon price shorten up. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some Oregon money coming in. On the spread, 51% of the money's on Oregon, 72% of the tickets are on the Hoosiers. Like you mentioned, we take a big bet, 23,000 single bet on Oregon plus 4. And so that's probably, still got plenty of time for people to get their bets in, but that's probably why you're seeing just over 50% of the money's on Oregon, while 70% of the tickets is on Indiana. And 70 and to 80% of the percentage of tickets for a national semifinal, that indicates either this game is horribly lopsided, which we know it's not, or one of these teams has become a really public team, and that is Indiana. That being said, I think Oregon is markedly improved since they played Indiana, albeit at home, in a loss, which doesn't happen very often in Austin. But they knew what they wanted to be from an identity standpoint back then. I think since that loss, they have become the team they wanted to be. And that team that they are now is far more set to defeat the type of team that Indiana is, in my opinion, even though I haven't made a bet, and I'm not sure I will on this game. I'm just going to sit back and watch.
Troy, is that when they beat Oregon, was that when Indiana became a public team? What would you say the percentage of bets on the Hoosier games went up? And that was exactly at the halfway point of the season. That was Game 6.
I think so, because what was it, 2 weeks later that they had the miraculous win against Penn State, because they went Oregon, Wisconsin, Penn State.
It was about 4 weeks later. About 4 weeks later. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it was 4 weeks later.
It was right around there, but I honestly, even though, you go and beat Oregon, a top 5 Oregon team at Austin Stadium like that is as impressive a road win as you can get, especially since it's not a West Coast team. Indiana's in the Midwest. I don't think they were given as much credence for that win as they should have gotten, even though I do think that's probably when they started to become a public team. But if I'm being bluntly honest, I think it was probably when they beat Ohio State. That was 3 weeks ago. I think people had questions about Indiana all year long.
Yeah, Ohio State was a big public play in that one. But you did have some sharp money back on that Oregon-Indiana game. It opened up 9.5, 10. It closed at 7 in that first game at Eugene. Troy, your best bet in the NFL this week before we let you go.
49ers plus 5.5. Was hesitant when it was 3.5, but the Eagles opened minus 3.5. They're now minus 5.5. Unless I'm missing something and someone is injured for the 49ers, I can't trust this Eagles team, even though it's at home. Their defense is going to pick up in the playoffs. We know they've limped into the playoffs before and been very successful, but I'll die on the sword that I just can't trust them. And so I'll take 49ers, who are a sneaky good team when everyone's healthy. So Niners plus 5.5, yes, please.
Troy, we appreciate it. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.
All right, sounds good.
Live at Rufino's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Otten Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
LSU up to 17 portal additions with the adding of Jordan Ross, defensive lineman from Tennessee. He's a former 5-star recruit. He was the number 1 edge rusher in the nation 2 seasons ago. Has not lived up to that production at Tennessee. We'll see if LSU can unlock it. 23 tackles last season, 1.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. He played in pretty much every game this season, but not 6'5", 245 pounds. Not the production that they were looking at when he came out, but again, we'll see if LSU can unlock it. And of course, Damon Williams, we'll talk a little bit about that in the second hour, on his way back to Washington after kind of stirring the pot here for a few days.
He came in town?
Who knows? Who knows? Nobody seems to be able to know exactly where he was for a portion of that time. So
Lane's got to keep things quiet if he's going to get something done before you get a little backlash, huh?
Well, I wanted to know if they were going to blame LSU for him going back to Washington, too, since they blamed him for trying to put himself in the transfer portal.
How's that going to play out in the locker room?
Probably not all that well. Hour number 2, straight ahead here at Rufino's. Live at lunch.
That was close. Kiffin would have won if he was coaching last night.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
He's out there somewhere in the world. Maybe even your local sports book.
Can anybody help us?
Let's bring in Bruce Marshall.
And return here at Rufino's, the weekly features. Today, the appetizers, the beef ravioli with the pearl onions, the duck quesadillas with the honey mustard, pork porterhouse, one of your entree features today, and the pan-seared grouper. The other one was seafood Diablo and rice.
Maybe with running back duck meat, huh?
I don't know what
running backs are kind of
does that mean?
You're throwing them on the grill.
Does that mean they're dead ducks, or does that mean that it's good?
You had Chef right here. You could have asked him. Ask Bruce Marshall.
I could have. Yeah. Bruce, does duck quesadillas being on the menu today, is that a good sign or a bad sign for Oregon tonight?
I think it's probably bad if you're eating duck.
The dead duck, right?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Charlie, when they tailgate during for Arkansas week at Baton Rouge and they're roasting pigs, is that good, Charlie? Huh?
Not for Arkansas. It's not,
no, it's not. No, it's not. So, Charlie,
all right. Well, I'm gonna have to steak then.
We've got it's like a piece of art. It's interpretational. And last night was an imperfect game, but certainly highly entertaining. And Bruce, if we could just forget all the process to get to the rosters and everything else, just watch the games and look at the atmosphere. It's pretty doggone good, man. Your thoughts, because we got a lot of interpretations, different interpretations of last night's game.
Yeah. By the way, only Stanford people barbecue duck before the game.
Hey, come to Louisiana, Bruce. You know that. I've brought you around to eat. We eat everything down here.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's probably pretty good. Yeah, it was. Oh, by the way, one quick note on the portal. Did you notice T.J. Finley's name is in the portal?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
7th. He graduated from college 3 years ago. I mean, this would be his 7th spin. Different school. Anyway, I thought that was.
Who was it that sent it to thing that Malachi Tony was 11 years old when Carson Beck started college?
Yes,
so.
he is a reclass. He should be a high school senior. Yes, he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Well, maybe I have some eligibility left. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I mean, this has been, and for the record, Jimmy and Charlie, a lot of these bowl games have been pretty good. Not the Rose Bowl or the Texas Tech-Oregon game last week, but a lot of them, and even some of the supporting bowl games, even that LSU-Houston game was like pretty darn entertaining. So the bowls have generally entertained again this year, and even for all the ups and ins and outs of college football, I look at some games, I look back, even that East Carolina-Pitt game, it's sort of a nothing game. But that was sort of inspirational to watch the way East Carolina came through with all the backups there, and they were fired up beyond belief for that game. So there is still something good about some of the bowls in the playoffs. And then last night was really a good example of how good it can be, because that was compelling stuff.
Should Miami have won more comfortably?
Yes, because they had a chance to put that game away earlier, and Ole Miss really didn't get cranking until the fourth quarter offensively. Just that one long TD run by Lacey. It reminded me, Jimmy, about a month ago you mentioned Texas Tech at Arizona State and how they were Texas Tech was just kind of hanging around that whole game. It looked like ASU was going to knock them out.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Texas Tech got back in the game late. Got that same feeling last night, and I thought the interception, the tip pass in the third quarter, that sort of put Ole Miss back in the game, because Miami was ready to score again there. But that came right after the Hurricanes missed a field goal, and they were leaving points on the field there and not putting them on the scoreboard. And that kind of kept Ole Miss in the game, and then things started to get fireworks in the fourth quarter. But I think you're right. I think Ole Miss was probably fortunate to still be in the game. Give them credit for hanging in there and fighting back. But I mean, Miami looked the better team most of the night, and I think they dodged a bullet in that one down in Glendale.
Well, you have a window when you have the superior team to put away an opponent, but when you keep an opponent hanging around, well, and that pass rush wears down and gives the best player on the field, my opinion, Chambliss, a chance, he might grab you. And he did his part. But, I mean, you're asking the Ole Miss defense to play 89 snaps. That's asking a lot. Man, they played. I cannot believe the SEC Network post-game show. They were criticizing the defensive player for, you got to get up off the ground like that. You got knocked down on the last. It's the 89th play of the game on defense. This is not a great defense front to begin with. My gosh. So, Tim Tebow criticized the Ole Miss kicker last night. How about that, Bruce? So, anyway, I don't know what game they were watching last night. I could not believe. It was not a game that Ole Miss lost. Ole Miss, this was a David and Goliath type of matchup, and Ole Miss played with a lot of heart and almost pulled it out. and almost pulled it out. I thought a key pass for Beck. I'll give him credit. It was the first play that lost like 1 yard or 2 yards in that last drive. It was like a 2nd and 11 or 2nd and 12, and he completed like a little 9-yard out to make it a 3rd and 2. And we know the 3rd and 2s. The 3rd and 2s were like that was a joke. I mean, that was like tush push success rate. I mean, even more so.
It was an 8-yard. It was an 8-yard.
8-yard throw.
Yeah.
And then the Daniels throw on 3rd down. So he actually, and what was the little slant coming from the left side, a skinny post rather, that he threw. He kind of actually threw some balls in rhythm. It only took him 59 minutes to get in rhythm. Swap quarterbacks. Bruce, what was the score last night?
If Shambles is on Miami, they win by 2 touchdowns, I think, because he can make more plays. Yeah, Beck, though, did down the stretch there. He did start making some throws, although the face mask penalty on that 3rd down pass, that was the one I really think really hurt Ole Miss, because I think we're looking at a 4th down if he doesn't grab the face mask. The receiver was not going to catch that pass, I don't think. Shambles. Yeah, but Shambles. Yeah, I mean, if Shambles is there on the Miami side, I think the Canes win easier. Yeah.
And I feel the same way you guys do. That Shambles is so much better, and it was
last
really,
night because Beck is not usually that bad. He's had some bad games like that, but that's not the norm.
It felt a lot worse than what it looked like in the box score because their counting numbers were almost identical. They were both 23 out of 37 last night, and within 9 yards of each other. Now Beck had the interception, but their counting stats were very close, even though I felt the same way you guys did, that Chambliss was
What do we talk about when we evaluate quarterbacks? Protection, weapons, running game. Not close.
No, it wasn't.
Not close. Not close. Max, you have something to say?
Well, just the only difference I would say is Chambliss, to me, this wasn't his best game, specifically because his box score could have looked a lot different if he had some picks.
He could have. He did not protect the ball like he normally does. He's got three interceptions all year. He had some turnover-worthy plays.
I mean, there was a throw right into somebody's hands.
He had some turnover-worthy plays. So. Couple, and we. This is what I said about LSU, man. Their DBs didn't drop any interceptions this year. I'd bring it because it's noteworthy. They drop a lot of interceptions. These were some bad drops and could have even been like a pick 6 or 2. So, yes, he got away with putting the ball in danger way more because he's being pressured way more than normal with the Miami. The Miami front is really, really good, Bruce. But they have zero penalties against Ohio State, 10 last night. 10 last night,
It was sloppy, and you mentioned that, Jimmy. I mean, you got 2 NFL first-round picks on that defensive line, Bain and Messidor. I mean, that's like an NFL defensive front that Ole Miss was trying to play against last night. But, yeah, everything you say is right, and Miami dodged a bullet, I think, and finds itself at home for the first time in 2 months. Who'd have thought they'd have gotten back there? The last time they played at home, November 15 against NC State.
All right, we get to Oregon, Indiana. It is Indiana is 3.5 and 48.5. Oregon, think about this too. They go from Oregon to Miami, back to Oregon. Now they're going to Atlanta and back to Oregon. And guess where they got to go next week? As far as they possibly can go if they advance, and got to go back to Miami at some point, huh? Bruce, how do you see tonight's game?
Yeah, the Portland Trailblazers don't travel that much. I mean, this is really something. Well, I'll tell you, I've been trying to think who Cignetti reminds me of. And I thought, Barry Alvarez sort of, the style and all. It took Alvarez a couple of years to get Wisconsin going. And I arrived at Bo Schembechler. Now, let me explain that a little bit. Making accommodations for the modern day. Teams, unless you're Air Force or Navy, aren't running 82% of the time, the way Schembechler's earlier Michigan teams did. Now, he started to
body blow running game.
Yep, line of scrimmage. He started to balance things a bit more when Harbaugh was the quarterback in the 80s, when it got about 2-to-1 run-pass ratio. But Cignetti also acts like Schembechler, too, so that's another thing. But what Cignetti does, which Schembechler did, and you go back and look at some of Michigan's scores from about midway 69 into the mid-70s, late 70s, they would just kill people with the same thing over and over and over again. Schembechler just ran between the tackles. And if you didn't stop him, tough luck. We're going to keep doing it, and we don't care what the score is. And that's basically what Cignetti does. Now, yeah, he's got a Heisman-winning quarterback, but this is a run-first team, really. And the run sets up everything that Mendoza does. He is good. And I've mentioned my comparisons to Bernie Kosar with a bit more mobility for him. But they still run about 63% of the time. And we saw that in the Bama game. And, man, I knew late in the first quarter my pick on Bama was in trouble because Indiana was gaining 5, 6, 7 yards on first down. I mean, they really manhandled them there. But back to the Schembechler thing. There were always a couple of games per season when Michigan was not able to bully you. And they got in scraps, and they would often, and they'd sometimes lose. It would be Ohio State. It would be in the Rose Bowl, or once in a while a team like Purdue might stand up to them and have a close game. Now, Indiana hasn't lost yet this year, but there were a few games when that running game was just not bullying the opposition. One of those was the first Oregon game, which was kind of a split decision for Indiana. They did win. They pulled away late, a couple of picks off of Dante Moore, but they weren't bowling Oregon over.
No.
And Oregon wasn't moving too easily either, but only like 3 yards per carry. And that was the Iowa game, too, and that was the Penn State game. And Indiana was in serious trouble, especially in the Penn State game, and they couldn't shake Iowa either. So, bottom line is, I don't expect this tonight to be like the Alabama game whatsoever. What Oregon did to Texas Tech, I'm still kind of amazed at that. This was a Texas Tech schedule or not. Scored, 42 points per game this season, and they got nothing in that game. And that was not a fluky 0 either. They were manhandled at the line of scrimmage, and that was a big departure for Oregon, whose defense, I think, kind of took that criticism after the James Madison game when they sort of goofed around in the second half. I mean, they were up 4 touchdowns at halftime. Man, they were serious last week, and they are not going to get bowled over, I don't think, tonight. That's what lets me think the under is probably the call here. We're up about 48.5, 49 on that. I think this is a rock fight. I think it'll be lower scoring than that game in Eugene, and I think this will look more like the Ohio State-Indiana Big Ten title game. I just don't think if Indiana can't really control the line of scrimmage running the ball, that they're going to run away for this thing that's going to get higher scoring. But Indiana's defense is also really good. Under the total is my call here. And one other note, we talked about in the playoffs here, the bye factor in the second round there hurts the teams that had a bye. The other factor this postseason, we mentioned this last week, the revenge, and this goes back to conference championship week. 8 revenge matches here, rematches of the regular season. 6 times the team that lost won the rematch. If that angle holds, it's a plus for Oregon. I'm leaning to the Ducks. Can they win it? Maybe, but I think this game trades in very tight margins, so maybe 3.5 or 4 points is enough for Oregon, but I'm going to recommend under first. Okay. Lesser pick on the Ducks.
Especially if they don't turn the ball over. The first game, 50 points total, and 3 of the scores in that game came off of turnovers. 4 if you count a downs turnover. So if they keep the turnovers down, Bruce, that to me is the biggest key on that under.
Here's the numbers, Bruce, because sometimes the rushing statistics can be a little bit misleading with the quarterbacks. The sacks are thrown in there. Oregon, the running backs, Hemby and Black, rushed for a combined 26 times for 101, just under 4 yards a carry. Against Iowa, 26 for 124, just above 4. Last week in the Rose Bowl, 33 for 188, so right around 6. So, no, it's a little bit different. But, yeah, just under 4 yards a carry. Oregon, was I that wrong on Texas Tech, Bruce? I could not believe, because the score was so much worse the game was so much worse than the score in the Orange Bowl last week. I couldn't believe how Texas Tech got pushed around that game.
I'm like you. I'm totally the same as you. I was stunned at that. And I almost thought Oregon offensively really played it close to the vest. It was like a tactical game by Lanning. He said, I'm not going to do anything to risk this because my defense is totally in charge here.
Sure.
And I thought that's why Oregon's offense, didn't look great last week. And I still need a bit of convincing on Dante Moore to think he's going to come out and be the number 1 or number 2 pick. But I think they just scaled it back because they knew their defense was in control. And you're right, they did manhandle Texas Tech, and I did not expect that, just like you, very surprised.
They ran 3 plays inside the 33-yard line. 3 plays inside of the Oregon 33-yard line, the whole game. Texas Tech.
Charlie, it was a nightmare.
I mean, they didn't even come close to threatening.
It was so much worse than the score. Hey, Bruce, your best picks in the NFL this week, 6 games in the wild card round.
Jacksonville. They're not. The odds makers and the wagering public are giving Buffalo too much respect. Yes, I know Josh Allen, what he can do. And I'm not overreacting to the fact Buffalo hasn't won as a visitor in the playoffs since the 1992 AFC title game at Miami when Jim Kelly was still there. Or the fact that Josh is 0-4 on the road in the playoffs. 3 of those were at Kansas City, and 2 of those were really close, I know. But it's just this year, I think something was missing from Buffalo this year, and it was on the defensive side. This was not a great Buffalo defense. They were really soft versus the run this year, softer than they've been in recent years. They ended up losing the East to New England. Now, the Patriots had a real the schedule helped out the Patriots, but still, I think Buffalo backed up a little bit here. And I think you got to start taking Jacksonville seriously here. What they did down the stretch, this was a different team. The switch flipped, I think, after they blew that game against Houston, one they should have won. But once they took apart the Chargers the next week, they were a freight train going down the stretch. And when they went into Denver, that was no fluke. I mean, they beat Denver. And what Trevor has done, his progress under Liam Cohen, I think Cohen deserves, I know Vrabel's probably going to win Coach of the Year, but I think Cohen deserves some votes because he has turned Lawrence around. And this team's got a swagger about it now, too. I think this team could get the Super Bowl. Jacksonville's going to beat Buffalo, and they're going to advance and cause some trouble for Denver's lucky. They wouldn't see Jacksonville to the AFC title game if Denver gets that far. But this is a very dangerous 3 seed in the AFC.
No argument there. I got a Vrabel ticket to win Coach of the Year, so obviously that's where I'm pulling for. But I could make a case for like 7 guys. I can't remember a year, Bruce, where you had so many really good coaching jobs. I mean, really good. I guess when guys like Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow are out of the playoffs, I mean, I guess they gave up some wins somewhere. So it's Chicago, the Seattle. I mean, the Jacksonville's unbelievable. I mean, yes. I mean, and his impact on Lawrence. I mean, for Lawrence we're questioning if he's a bust. Earlier this year, and I mean he's having the best stretch of his career. There's no doubt. He's now proven like he's kind of fulfilling the high expectations.
One other thing about Jacksonville, and Sean Payton was talking about this in the press conference before he played the Jaguars. And he's talking about all those ball hawks in the secondary, and he said, look, here's the problem throwing against Jacksonville, and especially those corners. He said, those guys catch the ball. He said a lot of DBs and cornerbacks don't catch that well. That's why they're playing on defense. He said, these guys catch the ball. And he said, and that adds an extra bit of risk when you're going downfield against these guys because interceptions can really happen because they have great ball skills. He said, better than any team in the league. And when Sean Payton says something like that, I pay attention. So Josh Allen better be very accurate in his throws down in Jacksonville, or those DBs, they're ball hawks there. They can turn a game around like they did several times this year.
Charlie, for some reason, the Ohio State fans are in my head. Another one they were saying last night. Where were these DBs last week? Where were these DBs dropping all these balls last week? They had one on their heads, pick 6. I mean, the game was completely different last night if one of those games was returned with pick 6, and there were a couple.
Sure, and they were on each side.
And Chambliss just doesn't put the ball in harm's way mostly, but he just doesn't get pressured like he did last night. Brucey, great stuff as always, my man. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Have fun, boys. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. So don't forget our friends at Total Maintenance. Again, Total Maintenance, one of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies since 1980. AC heating, generator installations, maintenance. Service today, every day means you call today, You get service today. Factory authorized dealers for Carrier, American Standard, Dakin, and Rheem products. And now is the time. If you have a unit that's over 10 years old, if it was serviced over the summer, you're not thinking about, well, we weren't using the AC right now, I guess. But anyway, and we're not really stressing them like we do in those hot summer months here in South Louisiana. But right now is the time, if you need to replace a unit, time to take advantage of some really great savings. Total Maintenance is offering up to $5,500 off select systems, as well as steep discounts on the ductwork you have to put off replacing that's 30 years old. Free evaluations of your system to find out exactly the recommendations and options. Call them up at 480-1000. Come over and they'll evaluate your situation and provide recommendations and offer replacement options in what we do. And if there's some of those units that will fit your situation and fit your house, can work out for you. So it's a really good deal. If you got a unit that was serviced this past summer, it's over 10 years old, call my friends at Total Maintenance, 480-1000. Lucas Ragusa and all his great staff at Total Maintenance.
Live at Rufino's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Otten Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we're also brought to you by the Thibodeau Store, the Pierre Part Store, also in LaRose and Lockport, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau. TheThibodeauStore.com is the website. New year, new savings, up to 60% off of some deals right now on the website. A lot of cleaning supplies that you can get at a discount right now as you prepare for maybe some spring cleaning deals that are going on for you. Of course, always with the great deal on outdoor cooking, your crawfish pots, your jambalaya pots, your grills, your griddles, the big green egg cookers are there. Tool storage, power tools, hand tools, cordless power tools, patio furniture. Jimmy, just a little bit something for everybody at these properties.
Especially Dad.
Especially Dad, yeah.
Post-Christmas sales opportunities where Dad can rack up. And so you like to cook, you like to do some things around the house. Like just a pre-transfer portal style store where you go in, they're friendly, it's locally owned and operated, but really you just got that personal touch. A nice greeting when how you doing? Doing good. You need some help. Sure, I was kind of looking for that. Let me help you out. And they're knowledgeable. And they're knowledgeable at their product, and they take pride in it. And they really do. And if they can't help it, they don't have it in stock, boom, it'll be at your house within a week because they'll order it for it and have it delivered to your house. So you got to love it. I love it. We're due for a field trip, Charlie. I'm going by myself again for the field trip?
No,
I'm the whole live and lunch staff, huh?
All three
Max,
of us.
Does Max know how to get to the Pierre Part store?
We'll even put Jordan in the truck, and we're all going. We're all going.
The bridge right there is it's closed to boat traffic. The water's real low down there.
Yeah, that is a low. That is close to the. It's close to the water, that bridge, Charlie.
Yeah, it is. Online, it's TheThibodeauStore.com. Get you to all four properties there. I've been meaning to ask you guys this question all week, and I'm going to ask it now. We've been looking for value on futures for the conferences and the Super Bowl, and we all like the number on the Eagles. Okay. Can I ask a question why there's, and I any of our experts, nobody seems like this team, why is there not just a little bit more support for the Houston Texans? Hear me out here for just a second. They've won 9 in a row. They hadn't lost a game in 2 months. Since the end of September, they are 12-2, and they have lost at Seattle by 8 points and against the Broncos by 3 at home. That's 2 number 1 seeds. We know that defense is as good as any, but I can't find anybody that likes them. On paper, there's a lot to like. I've watched them. They don't blow me away. But, man, they have won. How many has
Jacksonville won in a row?
7, I think.
They got a home game.
They do.
Where's support for them? They haven't done it. Houston hasn't done it. They've never gotten past the divisional round.
No, they haven't. But they have won playoff games the last 2 years,
and they're finally not playing in the Saturday afternoon slot like they always get
first
stuck
time,
with.
First time ever.
If there was ever, if we could have got action on the Carolina Panthers being the first game on TV, we'd have we'd have cleaned up on that.
Actually, 8 for Jacksonville.
Yeah,
8
yeah,
with
yeah.
the game.
I'll give
at
you
the end.
something, Charlie, just to monitor.
So my point is, because it's about perception. This is why, yes, those are the teams where you can get some value because the defense is going to carry them. But Stroud,
They hadn't lost a game by 2 scores all year, the whole season, even with the 3-game losing streak to open the season.
They lost by 1 possession.
Yeah,
in every game. Yep.
The 1 8-point, and that was at Seattle, arguably the best team in football. The resume is pretty good. I'm not overwhelmed by them, but the resume is pretty good.
History is why.
Yeah.
You're asking why.
Yeah.
I mean, why didn't Indiana's pretty damn good? Well, why weren't they public until now? Because they had to do it a few times. I mean, why are they still betting Alabama? Alabama's not that good.
The one thing I pointed to.
They still bet them last week.
Do you think it's a value at plus 475 to win the conference?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too.
I talked
got to win
about
all on the
this.
road, though, probably.
Yeah.
That's hard, 3.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I talked to Jimmy about this on Monday, Charlie, but the last 4 games, I know this Texans defense, that's the stronghold of this defense, or this team, right? That the offense is not as good as the defense here. The defense is the best in the NFL. But the last 4 weeks, let's look at their resume here. They gave up 30 to Riley Leonard and the Colts. Now, maybe they weren't playing for anything in that game, but they allowed 30 points to the Colts.
They would have sat people if they weren't playing for anything.
The Chargers was a banged-up O-line. They only allowed 16 points. But the Raiders.
That's the game I thought you guys were going to bring up. That's
the Raiders, 21
that's
points.
my argument against is that Raiders game. They looked like crap.
As any team, and it's obvious, they saw them on film and saw nothing they were afraid of.
Yeah.
0, because they were horrible in that game and fortunate to win. Not saying they should have lost, but they could have easily lost that game to the Raiders.
Gave up 20 points the week before as well to the Cardinals, who are the most injured team in football this year. So just the last 4 weeks, this defense, as good as it is, maybe taking a bit of a step back. That's all I'd point to there.
I think they'll be focused. I think that's I'm just the Raiders is just an outlier. I mean, they're just which is so bad in that game, but it's obvious. I mean, there's nothing. The coaches can say all they want. They saw that film, and there was nothing on that film that got them scared in that game.
Yeah.
But their defense is going to be ready. I thought their defense was really good last year in the loss in Arrowhead against the Chiefs. I mean, they put all kinds of pressure on Mahomes. Charlie, I told you after that game on the Monday show, I was like, man, I've never seen a game where neither team could protect the quarterback at all. I mean, the Chiefs were putting all kinds of pressure on Stroud. Stroud is the guy that concerns you the most. He is not consistent. He has not had a track record of consistency that says, okay, yes, he can go in 3 straight road games and win and play well enough to win. Now, he doesn't have to perform like some other guys because, I mean, stopping the run, pressuring the quarterback, coverage, they got it all. And they tackle pretty good. They're a physical team. I mean, they have it all. Keep in mind that Raiders game, too. It started off with a pick 6 by Stingley.
Yeah,
you get a cheap touchdown to start off, and you're still, fighting for your life in that game. So they're going to keep it. I like them a lot on Sunday night, on Monday night, rather. And how is Pittsburgh going to score in that game? Baltimore is not nearly what they usually are on defense, and then some key injuries, including the Notre Dame safety, that finally allowed Pittsburgh to move the ball late. But how are they going to move the ball against the Houston Texans?
Yeah, losing Hamilton was a killer for Baltimore. Texans one of 4 road favorites in this first weekend of NFL.
Can we talk about
playoffs.
SEC?
What about
Can we get back?
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
Funk, overrated. Just cyclical. What is it? New time, kind of foreshadowing.
I'm all for it. We'll do that when we get back.
A history lesson for the younger audience, Max.
Professor Ott, when we come back.
We are live here at Ruffino's, our off the menu features for today and throughout the entire weekend over here at Ruffino's. Beef ravioli, duck quesadillas. For you Indiana bettors out there. Entree feet. You could be sitting here watching the game tonight, starting off with a little duck quesadilla.
I feel like a man without a country. I'm the only person picking Oregon.
Charlie, I'll be there with you.
All right.
Okay?
I appreciate the support, Jim.
When you're asking me to be on the pros versus Joes, I'll try and be on the pros. I like to be on the house's side. Pork porterhouse, the pan-seared grouper, And our beverage features today, the Dom's Inferno, the Winter in Lombardi, St. George Spice Pale, Lazzaroni Amaro, lemon juice, honey syrup, orange bitters, egg white, nutmeg. I bet Barry loves preparing those. Why don't you order one of those?
Service with a smile.
Here at Ruffino's.
Live at Ruffino's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Odd and Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we're also brought to you by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, helping you deal with pain. Dr. Michael Goff and his staff have helped us out so many times over the years. So if you've got back pain, neck pain, muscle soreness, things that are keeping you from moving around as well, or maybe not getting a good night's sleep, talk to the folks at Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. They'll get you into a program that'll loosen things up, ease your pain and suffering if you do have to get into a program with dry needling, electric nerve stimulation, cryo ultrasound therapy. They can help you out there too. Airline Highway, Plank Road, Jefferson Highway near Drusilla. Dr. Michael Goff, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. You wanted to talk about the SEC.
Look, because the SEC is a little down right now. I mean, this is a little stretch. It's not. It's not a massive drought, but, I will say this early in the season, one thing that I did get right, I don't see a national champion in the league, early to middle part of the season. Mm-hmm. Teams get better. Just good look at the 0-3 team, So we had to win by thread against Georgia at home and kick the crap out of them in Georgia, in the SEC championship. Teams get better. Teams develop, developmental sport, and they could have. And I think Georgia got better, over the course of the season. Sir, I think, Chambliss, they realized what they had in him a little bit more. They got better. Far better than needing a fumble from an 0-8 SEC team, at their own 25-yard line to save the game there. But I just didn't see, a great SEC team, a national championship level team. Now, could Ole Miss have won? They could have won last night, but I thought they would have been very fortunate. It's a little bit of a history lesson for our younger audience. This is kind of what Miami used to do to the SEC in their heyday. Now, they did it to everybody in their heyday. But the SEC teams couldn't compete with Miami, and not with Florida State either during that stretch. And I saw the last team. Now, I don't think that's the best roster left, but team-wise, Charlie, their only loss was at Athens when they had a 9-point lead in the fourth quarter. It's a pretty damn good resume. And your last team left in the SEC got pushed around, and we're lucky to be in the game.
Yeah.
And so, do they have a budget at A&M and Texas and LSU and Georgia and yes they do. At Alabama, of course they do. Tennessee, but the Indianas and Texas Techs of the world, in Miami, they were the first one to okay, man, they paid the most for their quarterback last year, right? Cam Ward, wasn't he the highest paid?
That year, yes, he was.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, last year.
So so they're gonna have the money, down there. So, I do think it's football. I think the depth. I think I've heard multiple coaches in the SEC. We don't have the depth that we had. It's football. You saw the game last night. How many guys got injured? You're going to lose starters at some point for some games, and so your two deeps are not nearly what they were. You had pros playing at the two deeps.
Yeah.
But I think it's a little bit cyclical. I think there's going to be a really good Georgia team. I think there's going to really be a good Texas team, Texas A&M, an LSU team, an Alabama team. I think that's coming, but there are a little bit of they're back to the pack. Is that kind of a little bit better as far as the drought back to the pack?
I put it on really three programs that have traditionally been way better than what they have been in the last 5 years.
Florida,
Auburn, and LSU. Those three programs have underachieved since the COVID year by a lot of what was expected. And those are three powerhouse programs, big spenders, blue bloods, whatever you call it, and they have not been as good. This is breaking, Jimmy. This is just coming across. The NCAA has ruled on Trinidad Chambliss.
I say they gave him a year.
They did not.
Okay.
They denied the waiver. Here's the seeking to
So now he
extend the
goes to
5 year.
court if he wants.
Well, that's up to Tom Mars now. Citing an incapacitating illness or injury, approval requires schools to submit medical documentation, which was not provided. Mars is going to have a field day with that. He sent him 91 pages. The documents provided by Ole Miss and the student's prior school include a physician's note from a December 2022 visit which stated the student-athlete was doing very well since he was seen in August. Additionally, the prior school indicated it had no documentation on medical treatment. This is Ferris State, I'm guessing. Injury reports or medical conditions involving the student-athlete in the time frame, and his developmental needs and our team's competitive circumstances the reason he didn't play in 22-23. So in English, that means that he got beat out at Ferris State that year, and that's why he didn't play. It wasn't because of the tonsillectomy and the respiratory issues that Mars is citing in that 91 pages.
Okay, well, and this is where Mars comes in. Now, do they want to push it to the next level? And who's your money on in that one? His record is you're laying some juice if you're taking Mars and Chambliss. Now, does he want to go through with it? Does he got a little sniff? I mean, we expect him to be drafted now, huh?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
If he goes into the draft, I think the smartest thing Mars did.
He'll make a roster.
The smartest thing Mars did was he got Chambliss to commit and Ole Miss to commit to a dollar figure, because now he can go to court and say, this is costing my client this amount of money. But can we be reasonable here for just a second? And I don't expect them to be reasonable. Do we think kids should get a redshirt year for a tonsillectomy?
No.
They
shouldn't. No. And as much as you want to say you pull for this game, you're taking one less scholarship away. And one thing that is really one of the down points of it, J.T. Curtis's son tweeted out the other day, talked to 2 Ivy League schools and a D2 school this week. It's like a ghost town around here.
Yeah.
Used to be. It's very discouraging for the high school prospects. I mean, we know that the elite ones get drafted, but there's a lot of players out there to put a lot of time in and are good players and could play college football. It's a very discouraging period to maintain their athleticism. To keep playing football. And not just football. I mean, how many coaches we talked to? I mean, place at Lamar and Will's at Lamar in baseball. I'm not signing any high school players. He's not doing it. And why are you going to sign him? Saw him UCLA. And Troy Aikman said, for one guy, I gave the school money. We signed this guy. He's going to next year to Oregon. I mean, so how do you put your money with your high school when the freshmen are going to have a hard time having an impact? You got special guys like Williams at Alabama last year, like Tony this year, that are even playing a year ahead. The elite guys, they're always going to be a place and always going to be money. But there's so many players out there, Charlie, and it's just these type of things, just keeping giving. Guys, man, are we done with the COVID period yet? Are we done with it? But you don't have to point out things that Mars does smart, Charlie, in his work to prove that he's got a chance to win anything, or he hasn't done his homework. Nobody has been better than him at attacking the NCAA. So we'll have to see what his next move is. He hired Mars for a reason. What do you think he does?
He's going to sue for.
He's going to go take the next step.
Yeah, that I would be shocked if he did.
Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings. 296-0060. Full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Mariana Haynes, Natalie, and Bradford Smith, our great team at Legacy Title. And, of course, our fearless leader, Chad Reynolds. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody choose but you. Choose Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title, 296-0060.
We got a statement from Tom Mars, who is his attorney. We will read that when we come back. Live at Rufino's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Odd and Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Statement from Tom Mars, attorney for Trinidad Chambliss. I'm disappointed but not surprised. The last time I checked, however, the only score that matters is the one at the end of the fourth quarter. I assume that Ole Miss will file an appeal with the NCAA, but that's their decision to make. However, there's now an opportunity to move their case to a level playing field where Trinidad Chambliss's rights will be determined by a Mississippi judiciary instead of some bureaucrats in Indianapolis who couldn't care less about the law or doing the right thing. To pursue that course of action is a decision only Trinidad and his parents can make. So
Mars minus 345.
we're going to back to appeal, and we're certainly going to go to court on this. By the way, you get a lot. You want to talk about a wide range of opinions on somebody's draft stock. You can find somebody to tell you that he's going to go anywhere from from day 2. Mel Kiper's got him listed as the 6th best quarterback behind John Mateer and Carson Beck, all the way to undrafted. So you want to talk about a large range of what
and that's
happened if he goes
when you
into the
have
draft.
A really good undersized college player.
Yeah.
The guy that doesn't have the measurables at the next, but damn it, he can throw the ball. And that was a tough night to play quarterback last night. A really tough night. And, man, he hung around, and it was not his best. There's no doubt. And because the other team provided a little bit more resistance, but he almost pulled it out. He did his part. I mean, what if he had another minute?
Well, he did it. What, how much time was
got
that?
down to 35, and
seconds?
It could have been a flag. It could have been at the 20
Yeah.
in 18 seconds.
Do you think he gets? Do you think he gets this eligibility
My
back?
money's until Mars loses. Yes.
Well, no, but Mars could get him his money and not get him back in. You
No,
know?
Charlie. So what the Pavia thing was, he was at JC and he wasn't at a spot where he could. So you telling me that's not precedent for, he missed out on NIL opportunities at Ferris State, of course. And where's the courtroom? They're going to get a hearing on this.
Mississippi.
Oh, well, home field advantage. Mars at home. I'm sorry, minus 685.
Okay, I think he's going to get some compensation out of this. My thing is he going to get eligible?
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
how many times has he lost trying to get guys eligibility?
They can drag their feet on this thing, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm with you on Mars.
They're going to drag their feet in Mississippi. I got a feeling they'll expedite it.
Thanks, everybody, for participating. For Max and Jimmy, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.